The idea of children being raised by animals sounds like the stuff of myths and legends. Surely it could never happen in today's world, right? While the idea of feral children sounds like a fairy tale, it's all too real for these children. Here are just a few known children who were raised by animals. Raised by dogs. In the Ukraine, an 8-year-old girl named Oksana Malaya was found living in the family dog kennel in 1991. She's been living there since her alcoholic parents had forgotten her outside one night. She was 3 years old at the time and was left to her own devices. She curled up with the farm's mongrels to keep her warm, and there she stayed. After years without human contact, she learned to walk on all fours, barked, growled, and bore her teeth when approached. When she was found, it was clear that the dogs considered her one of their own. They tried to stop rescuers from taking her. With extremely delayed social and emotional skills, it took many years for her to relearn how to speak and become human again. As of 2010, she lives in a home for the mentally handicapped, where she helps care for the animals at the clinic's farm. Raised by monkeys. In 1954, when she was 5 years old, Marina Chapman was kidnapped. She lived in Colombia at the time. Her kidnappers abandoned her in the jungle and left her for dead. Alone and afraid, she came across a tribe of capuchin monkeys, small, highly intelligent black and white monkeys that occupied the wet lowland forests. For 5 years, she copied what they ate, drank, socialized, and communicated. Eventually, the capuchins accepted her as one of their own and taught her how to forage and avoid predators in order to survive. She was found by hunters sometime later, but they sent her to a brothel before she escaped. Now living as a British housewife with 2 daughters of her own, she has her own book describing her 5-year journey entitled The Girl with No Name, the incredible true story of the girl raised by monkeys. Raised by goats. In the Andes in Peru, a young boy was found in 1990 after living for 8 years with a herd of goats. It's not clear how he came to live with the wild Peruvian goats, but he survived by drinking their milk and eating berries and roots. He had no human language skills, but was able to communicate with the goats. He walked on all fours and had developed hardened scar formations that acted like hooves, too calloused to grip anything. Due to the many years he spent unable or unwilling to stand on 2 feet, he had abnormal bone growth. He was later named Daniel and was studied by a team at the Kansas University. Raised by jungle animals. In January 2007, a woman was found, filthy, naked, and frightened, in Ratanakiri Province, Cambodia. She was believed to be the daughter of a family from a nearby village who had disappeared nearly 20 years ago when she was around 8 years old. Her name was Rashom Pyongyang. She was found in the dense jungle in a remote northeastern area of Cambodia when a villager noticed food missing. It is believed that she survived by befriending various animals, including monkeys, as she appears to walk with a similar gait and stature. When found, she was recognized by her father, a policeman, because of a familiar scar when captured by villagers. After being found, she was unable to adjust, barely being able to speak. Her family struggled to keep an eye on her as she tried multiple times to return to the jungle and remove clothes when they were placed on her. Her parents were able to keep her at home for several years, trying to readjust her back to human life. But in May 2010, she fled back into the jungle and has not been found again since. Raised by birds. At the age of 7, young Vanya Yudin of Russia was found in a tiny 2-room apartment surrounded by dozens of caged birds in 2008. His mother was unwilling to speak to him, so he learned to communicate with chirps and squawks, mimicking the birds. He was unable to understand human language when found, and it was believed that he never could, having lived his entire life with the birds in the apartment as another of his mother's pets. He was not otherwise abused or denied food, but social services removed the boy from his mother's care regardless. He was originally sent to an asylum when his mother relinquished custody, but was later transferred to a center of psychological care to be treated and rehabilitated. Raised by wolves. In the Kaluga region of central Russia, a young boy was found in December 2007. He appeared to be around 10 years old, but may have been older as he appeared underdeveloped. Believed to have been abandoned by his parents, he was brought to a Russian hospital close to Moscow after villagers found him outside in freezing temperatures. He was in a den of leaves and twigs, unable to speak, snarled, and tried to bite policemen when that brought him in. He was named Lyoka by the staff. He displayed wolf-like traits in the way that he moved and behaved. He also had claw-like fingers and toenails. It was clear the boy was uncomfortable surrounded by other humans and escaped the clinic within 24 hours. Hospital staff hadn't been able to perform any medical tests before he fled. They had only been able to give him a shower, cut his nails, and take some blood. Well, folks, that's it for our video. What do you think of these poor children living alone in the wilderness? Let us know in the comments down below. And while you're here, why don't you check out these other videos and perhaps subscribe to The Richest? More interesting and bizarre content every day. Thanks.